The distress beacon had been active for 72 hours when Commander Susan Torres received the transmission. On the view screen, the insectoid face of Commander Zixstar flickered, his compound eyes reflecting the fires burning behind him. Human command, this is forward base Epsilon 7. We are surrounded. Estimate 40,000 void ravagers closing in. Request immediate reinforcements. Send whatever you can spare. Susan leaned back in her command chair aboard the UHS Indomitable, studying the tactical display. The Galactic Coalition base was 12 systems away, a week's jump for most species vessels. The Threen defenders, despite their advanced weaponry, were known for their calculated retreat strategies. They fought when odds favored them. When they didn't, they withdrew. It was logical. It was efficient. It wasn't human. Helm, how fast can we get there? Susan asked. Lieutenant Evan Chen didn't look up from his console, fingers already dancing across the navigation interface. If we push the drives past safety limits and skip the standard jump calculations, 18 hours, ma'am. But the fleet can't keep up with then we go alone. Susan interrupted. She pressed the come button. Commander Zixstar, reinforcements are en route. Hold your position. We're coming. The Threen commander's antennae twitched in what Susan had learned to recognize as confusion. How many ships can you send? One. Silence filled the channel. Susan could practically hear the alien calculating the futility of a single vessel against 40,000 enemies. Commander Toggy Zixstar said carefully, perhaps you misunderstood. We face complete annihilation. One ship, even a capital ship, cannot. We're not just any ship. Commander, humans don't abandon allies, ever. Taurus out. Evan programmed the jump sequence as the rest of the bridge crew scrambled to their stations. Ma'am, the Indomitable carries 5,000 Marines. Even with our firepower, the math doesn't favor us. Susan smiled grimly. Since when do humans care about math when our friends are dying? The ship lurched into hyperspace, her engines screaming in protest at the breakneck pace. Susan spent the next 17 hours doing what humanity did best, preparing for the impossible, orchestrated narrative expansion with tactical pacing and battle sequencing. Good start. I need to continue building tension and show the human tactical approach. I'm at around 380 words, so I need about 620 more to reach 1,000. Let me continue with the arrival and battle sequence. The Indomitable dropped out of hyperspace like an avenging angel, klaxons blaring as sensors registered the nightmare surrounding forward base. Epsilon 7, the Void Ravagers had nearly breached the perimeter. Their biomechanical monstrosities swarmed across the scorched landscape like a living tide of death. All hands, battle stations. Susan's voice rang through every corridor. Marines prepare for immediate deployment. This is what we trained for. Evan's fingers flew across his console. Deploying orbital defense grid, weapons hot, target acquisition locked on priority threats. The Indomitable's main batteries opened fire, tungsten rounds screaming through the atmosphere at relativistic speeds. Each impact vaporized clusters of Ravagers, but thousands more surged forward to fill the gaps. Drop pods launching, the weapons officer reported. All 5,000 Marines deploying in 3.2.1. The sky above Epsilon 7 filled with fire as thousands of armored capsules punched through the atmosphere. Inside each pod, a human Marine clutched their weapon, hearts pounding, minds focused on a single objective: save the Coalition forces, no matter the cost. Susan watched the tactical display as her Marines hit the ground. They didn't form defensive lines. They didn't calculate favorable engagement zones. They charged directly into the thickest concentrations of enemies, breaking the Ravager formations with sheer audacity. Commander Zixstar, this is Torres. Pull your forces back to the central compound. We're taking the fight to them. Through the chaos, the Threen commander's voice came through, filled with an emotion Susan couldn't quite identify. Commander Tohis, your soldiers are not retreating. They're advancing into certain deaths. That's what humans do, Susan replied. We don't ask what the odds are, we change them. Evan routed tactical data to her command display. Ma'am, Sergeant Rodriguez's unit just captured the Ravager command node. Lieutenant Pack's squad is demolishing their spawn portals. They're actually pushing them back. On the surface, 5,000 humans fought like 50,000. They moved with controlled fury, coordinating attacks with a precision that seemed almost telepathic. Each Marine knew their role, trusted their comrades absolutely, and refused to yield a single meter of ground. The Void Ravagers had conquered 17 species. They overwhelmed through numbers, crushed resistance through relentless assault, but they had never faced humans, a species that turned desperation into determination. fear into fury, and impossible odds into motivation. Casualties? Susan asked quietly. Heavy, Evan reported, his jaw tight. But they're holding for hours into the battle. Something unprecedented happened. The Ravagers began to retreat. Their hive intelligence, after analyzing thousands of engagements, reached a conclusion. The cost of defeating these humans exceeded any strategic value. They withdrew, leaving behind thousands of their dead. As dawn broke over Epsilon 7, Susan's Marines stood among the ruins, battered but unbroken. They had lost 800 soldiers, 800 heroes who had charged into hell because their allies needed them. Commander Zixthar approached Susan's holographic projection in the command center, his entire posture radiating something the translator struggled to convey. Finally, it settled on reverence. Commander Torres, we asked for whatever reinforcements you could spare. We expected a token force, a symbolic gesture. Instead, you got humans, Susan finished. And when humans say they're coming, Commander, they don't come to watch their friends die. They come to win. She paused, looking at the exhausted but proud faces of her crew. Or die trying. Zixtar's antennae lowered in a gesture of deep respect. The Galactic Council will hear of this. They asked for reinforcements. They received an entire legion of warriors who redefined what it means to be an ally. Evan looked up from his console, a tired smile on his face. Ma'am, Fleet Command is requesting a full report. They want to know how 5,000 Marines defeated 40,000 Ravagers. Susan leaned back in her chair, pride swelling in her chest. Tell them we followed the first rule of human military doctrine, Lieutenant. Never leave anyone behind. As the Indomitable began recovery operations, the story spread across the galaxy. Other species calculated, other species measured risk. But humans simply showed up when called, fought with everything they had, and refused to accept defeat. They had asked for reinforcements. They got humanity, and that made all the difference.